Well, new tonight, the Greenville Housing Authority Board held their first meeting since voting to place 3 employees on leave last month. One of the employees is CEO Sean Williams. A Georgia grand jury indicted Williams on racketeering, theft, and bribery, and those charges stem from her time working at the Georgia Department of Community Affairs. Fox County's Kennedy Harris attended the meeting this afternoon, has been following the situation very closely. So, Kennedy, how is the board now moving forward with the situation?
Well, Justin, the news of this indictment was a shock to everyone. And even though there hasn't been anything to suggest funds have been misused here in Greenville, the board is taking a close look at finances, all while adjusting to staffing changes.
We certainly don't know what the results of that will be in Georgia right now, but when you hear those things, you have concern.
The Greenville Housing Authority works to manage and provide affordable housing options in the city. This board are the supervisors.
We really wanted to make sure that we have a full picture of anything that may have happened within our organization.
Pete Byford is the board chair. He says in light of the recent indictment, they've sought outside auditors and legal counsel to help for an internal investigation.
Luckily, we were actually in the process of doing our typical audit for 2022, so we've simply added additional procedures and policies to that and are working through the process.
Despite losing 3 employees for the time being, Byford says they've been able to avoid service disruptions.
Fortunately, we have a fantastic staff that has really just buckled down, shifted the piles around, and continue our work moving full speed ahead.
As for Sean Williams, Byford says her position with the authority weighs on what comes of the investigation.
As we get to the end of our investigation, we'll be able to make a determination on her future one way or the other with the organization.
And the board has told us they're fairly confident Williams did not misuse any funds here in Greenville. There's no timeline for when the internal investigation may be completed, but we'll continue to follow this story. Kennedy Harris, Fox Carolina News.